streaming live to Twitch, though. I'm just
Oh,
letting
thank God. That's why we went straight to the Cuffed and Stuff comments. We're on session 57?
Yep.
Yoicks and away. All right. When we last left our heroes, Lucius was making a terrible, terrible pun.
Yes.
Nice. I like the sign that just popped up.
Well, he actually just sent a message saying, "Be sure and post funny stuff on the wallpaper for me."
Well,
So
I'm glad he feels like that's a duty that he needs to fulfill in the thing. I mean, honestly.
and that he actually has to tell people to do it.
Yeah, that's a little bit less
Yeah, I
likely.
was gonna say that's
Somewhat less likely, but you know, I'm not gonna judge.
I do have to say that we all need to work on our drawing skills.
Well,
myself included.
To be fair, the tools aren't great
Mm.
at all.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge.
They're not good at all. But anyway, when we last left our heroes, we were. I was gonna find a picture of Lucius here, but
We were in an alley.
were we? We weren't really in the alley. We were in the. I mean,
Well,
you had a view to the alley.
The back conference room and a torn open wall with an alley beyond, with the various wriggling eels of the Arm of Arms, that had decided to flee after having been blown up by an Everest to Tinkers to Chance between Lucius and Alicia.
Indeed.
And the skeleton in the arm.
Yeah.
Alicia is still looking flushed with satisfaction over that.
Blowing up the arm?
It was such a smooth combination of moves. It just felt really, really good.
That's funny.
And yes, blowing up the arm.
Having somebody underhand you a grenade and being able to do something with it right away was.
It was you know. There's a angelic chorus in the heavens, if there were angels in the heavens, which of course there are not.
Oh, Alicia. Anyway, so Lucius's comment. We need to. Let's let that thing go. We need to talk. Things have gotten out of hand. Delivered. Hang on. If it ever uploads. It won't upload. It'll be slow. Yeah, there you go. Oh god, that's weirdly grainy.
Not on my side.
There we go. Yeah, things have gotten out of hand. Delivered like with that expression, like.
Pain me, children.
It pains me to have to make puns are the last recourse of the weak. Anyway, and I see that we have some drawing going on down here, like some proper drawing.
Well, I was trying, but then you put a big image in front of it.
The little head down here? Underneath.
It's looking really good too, I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate that there's no eraser though.
Drawing with a mouse is hard.
I am not. That is probably why I'm doing as well as I am.
Ah, I see. I see.
I have a tablet. I'm going to use it.
I see. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so Lucius doing stuff, wants to talk. Actually sets himself down right at the table. With the gaping hole. Yeah, JC comes to the back. He's like, "What the?" And he's like, "It's fine. It's fine. It's all over. Keep everyone." Everyone in front's like produced firearms, small weaponry. They're all like braced. No. The police will be here soon enough. Just have them come in around the back so it doesn't disrupt our patrons. She's like, "But what did?" It's fine. This sort of thing used to happen here all the time. I realize it predates you, but it's she somehow manages to look at you lot accusingly, like this is your fault.
Of course it is.
He's the one covered in brick dust and everything, but so he sits down, waits. What do you do?
I'm going to apologetically put up a hard light hologram to fill the hole and take a seat.
That's fair. Now, does that generate from you or like a butterfly or?
I have a little drone that I can detach and
Little
it'll just
drone?
kind of hover there. So it'll stay there independently until it runs out of power.
They'll probably want you to bring that down when they investigate the crime scene. They do that. But
Oh sure, I just didn't want a draft in here. That's all.
Oh, it prevents a draft. Really? Interesting. Technology.
Alicia-
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Alicia's both simultaneously fascinated and kind of like, arching an eyebrow towards Summer.
Hard light. Not to be trusted.
I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, I'm Adam. Hi."
And yes. So, are you sitting down, Adam? Are you sitting down near at hand, or?
Well, I figure for the introduction part, he's just going to be like walking over to him to shake his hand, that sort of stuff. But afterwards, I'm sure he'll take a seat. Especially if Lucius is kind of giving like the dismissive grunts.
Well, he's giving everybody the dismissive grunts. Oh, if you offer his hand, he'll certainly shake it. He's not a barbarian. Not a barbarian or a millennial.
Sir, or a barbarian.
But it's kind of waiting, rather pointedly waiting for everyone to sit down.
Alicia will lean against a part of the wall that's not a hard light hologram.
Actually, it is rude of me as, I suppose, the host, owner of the facilities, if nothing else, to begin, since I have guests who clearly came here to discuss something with me. So, for the nonce, let's set what has just occurred aside for a moment, and I will ask instead, what brought you to my doorstep?
Deferred look at Charlotte.
So, well, I didn't know if you guys were really like going to usurp it. I actually came to talk with you some more about some of the activities with the rifts and my least favorite magician at large.
The wounds, I believe you called them, that we had investigated earlier. Yes. What were you wondering about them? There's been word that there has been a great deal of activity eliminating those recently.
So I have most of them taken care of. I just
You have most of them taken care of on the East Coast. I want to be clear about that. It's not most. It's a double-digit percentage, but it's probably not most by any.
I've been able to do a lot of work on the ones here on the East Coast.
Yes.
But I'm looking at cost of doing that in terms of and trying to determine if there's a more efficient way to take care of this, but also to talk to you about other things that seem to be intersecting.
Intersecting.
Insecting.
Yeah, intersecting around
Love it. Locusts.
on this work.
Psychic cicadas.
Them.
All right. I can offer some insight there, I think. And the rest of you all came along for moral
Coffee.
support? Coffee. I see.
Well, aren't we helping?
No, I wanted to make sure that everyone was being addressed. The Knights are concerned with order. So, in as much as your efforts have been pursuant to that, it's been in our best interests to stand aside or, in fact, help as much as my protege is able to do so. Although I gather that he wasn't necessarily involved in this most recent effort to eliminate the wounds along the East Coast. Is that accurate? And it is. It didn't. This was all kind of you.
No, I was addressing a number of these from the other side, and and other spiritual resources.
And if I recall correctly, when you first attempted that effort with me, it was fairly draining, and you were quite concerned with the impact it would have on the spirits nearby. Is that?
That is still a concern.
And yet you did it without any focal assistance from my protege.
Like I said, the work I was doing from the other side was I don't want to say epic. That's not really the word she would use. Is significant in portion. Wasn't really an option to have him.
I see.
Well, and to be honest, after that, I was doing a lot of grounding myself.
We all make difficult choices when we are pursuing goals that we deem worthy. We've been, as I said, concerned with order and preserving that as much as possible. Really not some sort of fascist organization, of course, but really the kind of order that keeps people safe. And preserves what we think of as the real world, although that is a highly subjective term.
Is he talking about the cemetery?
He's kind of he's leading into a few things.
Because that wasn't really related to closing the holes. That was kind of a separate thing. And let's be real here.
I came out here for
Yes.
information. And I'm feeling so attacked right now.
Well, I mean,
To be honest,
well,
I'm
no,
not the one who blew up the cemetery.
no, I mean, so I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm thinking of when it with regards to the effort on the other side. You had made a pretty concerted effort to close up a lot of the wounds. You did that, but it also it went a little bit extreme. So there's been some unintended fallout from that. The spirits not being damaged has not been a thing. That's not how this has gone. Just based off the sort of the choices made, things like that. It's been a bit of a mess as far as that goes. Which is why like the cemetery was all the extra gravestone markers showing the names of people who were dead but had died in Boston, but their like death dates were a week ago, kind of thing. It was Charlotte sort of dealing with the fallout of that, and the cemetery kind of manifesting a little bit of that. But no, you're not the one that blew up the cemetery. That's definitely not.
I didn't say that out loud.
No.
I would never say that out loud.
I just want to make that. I want to make sure that metaphysically we have the same image of everybody sort of has the same image of what's been going on. I thought the connection, the activity at the cemetery yesterday, in conjunction with what the Knights had already detected, seemed significant. And we sent. I keep wanting to call him Marcus, and it's not. What is the actual Armiger's name?
William Edison.
William. William was sent north to investigate some of the other loci for the wounds that seem to have disappeared. I was asked simply to walk by, I suppose, do a drive by. Is that how they say that? Of the cemetery, or
I wouldn't know.
former cemetery, to take a look at things. And no, it wasn't. What was done was what was necessary. How it was done was perhaps, you say, extreme, or there may be ways to do it that would be less impactful, less.
Yeah, I can't just say we had some bad rolls and move on, right?
Well, no, I mean the strongly established risk of the wound work in the fiction is that it will get away from you. Not that you can't do it, but that it will sort of sweep you up.
I mean, that's the alternate verse Charlotte.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's one example of that in the alternate verse Charlotte where it just kind of swept her up in a thing. And in this one, in a span of a week, or barely more than a week, you cleared out the entire East Coast, but also left yourself kind of rocked with guilt and kind of curled in a supernatural ball in a pocket dimension. Or so that's one possible read of that situation, or so vulnerable that the thing with the arms and the face kind of cocooned you. And honestly, it's anybody's bet which that was that actually happened. Was that Charlotte just manifesting a do not disturb sign of, a cosmic do not disturb sign, or was that something that took advantage of her heightened psychic energy and weakened emotional state and grabbed her? Who can say?
I would say it's a third option, which is that she went into the cocoon and then something came around.
And then something came up. You know, she went into her happy place, and her happy place then got surrounded.
Because somebody always has to bomb the conversation pit.
Yep. The
I feel like that's gonna be a meme at some point.
I think so.
So I didn't notice anything especially untoward at that time, but something certainly felt off, and I went looking for that. There was obviously a connection that had been established between this world and the other outside of what you had done, and he doesn't glance meaningfully, but he very pointedly no, his body language seems to somewhat indicate Adam a little bit. And yeah, the whole like thing getting a connection over to this side sort of thing seems to be was certainly something, you know, that sort of connected from like Adam doing his stuff.
Or at least empowering it in some way.
But even that seems to have taken care of itself. This that we have just dealt with, and this will seem particularly odd, I think, given things that you may have noticed about it, didn't have anything to do with the cemetery. That isn't where I encountered it.
I'm kind of throwing my memory back to, you know, any of the feelings about, you know, about it.
About
In other words,
what? About which? The effort to close the wounds or what?
the arms thing. Because, you know, on one hand, it's sort of like looking, you know, going back through my happy place and seeing, you know, what was wrong or what was different, and does that lead me to think anything specific about the creature before we basically kind of departed abruptly.
No, it didn't have a specific. When it showed up, it wasn't like looking for you.
No, but when I was down under the cemetery.
Oh, that arms
Right,
creature. I thought you
and
meant the arms creature that was actually also an arm. Never mind. You meant the other one.
Not related?
No. And that's
Oh,
what's
okay.
okay.
That's what confused
Yes.
me because of the image that we had.
Well,
So-
and certainly it seemed in all regards to be a similar creature. My assumption was that it was initially. I was able to determine while battling it that it was not of the same supernatural ilk that you all dealt with yesterday. It's some kind of echo. Some sort of copy. And not a good copy.
I'm not getting what he's implying that it's a copy of.
It's a copy of what you fought yesterday, but it's not of what you fought yesterday.
Someone or something inspired by what we fought yesterday, or
I
a
believe
copy from an older inspiration?
I believe it's an unintentional and in fact unintelligent replication of that creature. Or really not even necessarily that creature, but a creature that your group, fought.
but not the one we fought yesterday.
No. When I went, the reason I found it is because I was looking for disturbances in the order of things. Because something is amiss in the city in that regard. And it doesn't have anything to do with the wounds. It's just been bothering me. So I went looking. And I found that thing.
One of the things that we do know about the wounds is the relationship to
Dr.
Magus Everard
Right.
and Dr. them.
Infinity.
Dr. Infinity. Dr. Them. Dr. Them. Oh, I think I have a bad guy for the next time we ever, for the next mass game.
No, that should have been the name for
The
the one that was
giant
all.
ant head.
Oh, that's really bad. I was gonna say the one that was all arms. It's just
Right.
it's a them.
Dr. Them.
That would be Dr. Army.
Oh God. It is certainly possible that this has something to do with Dr. Infinity. We faced the Knights have run across them in the past, dealt with them in the past. But this seems more like the sort of thing that would raise their ire rather than be caused by them. What I'm saying is it wasn't some sort of supernatural breach into this world. It was this world metaphysically hiccuping and spitting up weirdness that shouldn't be here. Something is out of balance, and it caused that thing to manifest.
It was Virtovian, or Sepiaverse, at least. The skeleton inside of it had ribs resembling those from the Sepiaverse.
And how do you know that?
She taps her forehead. Hyper genius.
That is an interesting wrinkle in what otherwise should have been I'm concerned about this because it seemed to be a...
Oh, you're concerned about this. Okay. I was worried about what you might be concerned about here.
It seemed to be a mindless... It's the wriggling arm-shaped monstrous equivalent of a bad storm that gets up when two opposing weather fronts come together. Except it seems particularly well themed. Copying a creature that looks like something that you fought recently, and at the core of it, something that harkens back to other conflicts that you've had in the past. So while it didn't seem to be looking for you, it does seem in some way to be... He starts to say something, and he pauses for a second, reconsiders his words, and says, inspired by you or your activities.
A metaphysical antibody to the menagerie?
Possibly. At least broadly speaking.
So since I'm not the true believer at the table, I'm surprised that no one else has brought up the fact that we have coins that won't fall and things of unreality, but I'm a true believer, so I'm not going to say anything about that.
Yeah, I like that. That's an excellent point to bring up.
Well, we touched on Adam earlier.
Right, but
and
not with him. That's or did
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, he touched on Adam just a bit ago,
exactly.
and haven't had an opportunity to bring the conversation back to
Well,
that.
let me throw you a softball then. Have you, to the best of your knowledge, been engaging in any sort of activity that would fundamentally alter what we would think of as normal reality?
Alicia rolls her eyes. When have we not?
A
Well,
fair
we did go to the future.
That is generally ill-advised, but it wouldn't typically have effects behind it. I mean something that is consciously and apparently ongoing change, is causing ongoing alterations to accepted reality.
Ooh.
I really respect you on this because you have seen a lot more weird things than all of us combined. Trying to sort of understand what the what that challenge would be, or what is the disconnect with reality.
Have you, when you said that about
You
seeing,
tried flipping a coin?
when you when you say the thing about how he's seen more weird stuff than you, he doesn't, like, it's not a bragging thing, but he does nod solemnly, like, well, yes, that's true. Kind of, there's no like humor to it at all or anything like that. It's just this general thing. Have you, and I'm going to ask the group for a little bit of help here, because he's going to you don't need to all call out at once, but he's going to go through and suggest the sort of like standard comic book tropes of reality altering that in his lifetime he would have experienced. So he'll begin by saying, have you altered reality to prevent or undo the death of a loved one? Have you
and everyone looks at
have you altered
the speedster for that?
Have you altered the mindset of a group or small group? Perhaps, and he kind of raises his eyebrow and gestures gracefully, perhaps to make an object of affection love you in return.
We did break the HHL's mind control about the Veritovia stuff.
That was months ago. You actually undid a thing there. And mind control is too subtle for what I'm thinking of. This is talking about changing the actual fabric of space-time. Changing things, not making a person forget. That alters memories. It's cosmic, globally broad mental.
Now when you
roofie.
say that, I just blame it all on the fight between Dr. Infinity and Everard.
But again, if that were going to cause,
I know, but that's my mindset
Yes.
when you said
if that were
cosmic world changing.
if that were going to cause, if that were going to cause this sort of thing, that would have happened several years ago, and it did have some effects. Yourself being the primary and certainly most cogent and quite charming example. But it's not what I'm speaking of, because what I'm seeing is random manifestations of that imbalance that I believe are only going to become worse.
So some sort of profound change in what everyone perceives as reality that might dramatically affect probabilities, affect memories.
Yes,
make people
probabilities.
think-
Some sort of
Yes,
uh,
probabilities.
probabilities could certainly be affected. Well, if the probability, if assuming
Alicia's looking at Adam.
the probabilities lie in some fashion parallel to the original effect in some way that they could. I can't really think of a good example of that, but if for some reason a probability would lie both in tune with and out of tune with whatever alteration had been made, that would certainly show up in some manner that I can't possibly imagine. Really,
Coin. Alicia calls out coin to Lucius the way that he called out grenade to her, and tosses a quarter over to him.
he looks at it.
Flip it.
So, absent any particular information, he flips it and it just, flips and flops on the table a couple of times and then lands, I don't know, face up.
Okay, this time flip it and ask yourself, is Adam a member of the Concordance?
Heads if yes, tails if no.
Heads if yes,
That was
tails if no.
that's the key bit. And Lucius kind of raises an eyebrow. He actually does this. He raises an eyebrow at Alicia, and then he turns his head sidelong towards Adam and drops the one eyebrow and raises the other one, like he's keeping one loaded for each of you.
I love it.
And of course, he ponders, he holds it before himself and stares at it rather profoundly. And then flips it out there, and it sits there and sort of spins.
It doesn't
I
come down.
always no, it lands on the table. It's sort of spinning on the table. I always thought that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern was a bit pretentious, but they did have a point. Or sorry, he would have said the entire name of the play. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. And you can see, like, it's spinning faster and faster and faster. Basically a blur. Let's think about this for a second. So, am I to understand that you're aware of the problem?
Problem. I don't understand where you're going here.
Problem.
Call it less a problem, more an anomaly. To be charitable.
You were aware of an anomaly. I am giving you additional information that allows you to identify it as a problem, he says, gesturing to the
Well-
currently concealed hole in his coffee shop. That is considerably more significant than this. I will believe you concede. And this is only the beginning. This will, if you forgive the colloquialism, snowball. That means that it'll start small, and as it begins to roll, it will build up more detritus until eventually it becomes a larger and larger problem. That's what the slang term is meant to indicate.
Yes, I understand the jargon.
Like 5 kids are going to roll their eyes at this
So,
dialogue.
some people over-explain the joke. Lucius over-explains language. So I don't mean to put anyone on the spot, but what is going on? Wait, are you a member of the Concordance?
No.
Everybody winces as they're except for Charlotte.
The coin spins a little bit faster.
So, and Joyce, this is a player question because you
Sure.
can override what the character remembers.
Sure.
But Summer had actually written up these 4 semi-farcical like after action reports, but she has now canonically sent them in email to Alicia to read, and that spawned this big, emotional scene on forums. But in that, she wrote Concord instead of Adam, and she wrote specifically that he had teleported the Phoenix when it first came in, when it was returning from the future.
Right.
So if she checks her phone right now and looks at that, what does she say? Does she see that thing?
Okay, back me up here. She had seen Concord. Wait, what?
She had written
Written
she had
Concord.
written a recollection of her memories, and
She-
then in writing that, she had named Adam as Concord
Right.
and ascribed to him the power of teleportation, which Aegis says he doesn't have.
Right. Which everybody says he doesn't have. That's just not one of his current power set.
So is that written record still intact? Basically, that's what I'm asking.
I think I could answer this either way. I don't. Adam, how thorough is this? I mean, it's pretty thorough.
No. I imagine if it was, the sentence was, and Concord teleported up, the Phoenix into space.
Yep.
It would be, and Adam, the Phoenix in space.
So it's not a very good find and replace because it was a quick job. Here's what I'm going to say that you find, discover, Summer, is you remember writing Adam teleported the Phoenix into space. You remember writing that. You remember sending that. When you look at the file on your phone, what you see is that rather hack-jobbed edit of Adam into the Phoenix into space. Like you forgot, like you accidentally a word. So, and you kind of remember writing that way also, but it's not holding it. So I'm going to say, I mean, generally the artifact, and we can continue exploring that for anybody, but the artifacts in general, the evidence in general is physical world, much more thoroughly frelled with. Mental, especially the subconscious where subtlety is a thing, much more likely to have been to show both sort of soundtracks. Does that make sense?
So
Does that
yeah,
work?
it does. So
Okay.
and she's going to hold her phone up and kind of look at Adam, but not directly, and kind of look at Lucius, but not directly, and say it's more than just a problem with the world. Although I agree with that, this is personal to me. I came from a machine that fabricates and modifies memories, and at any time, there's always been the possibility that all have been changed or edited. And there's been a couple times where I came really close, and there's been once when it did happen to my sister, and that's the reason I have a sister. And so I have anxiety, and probably will always have anxiety, that someone or something will try to rewrite me, and I don't feel good about that feeling. In fact, I'm really bothered by it, and I'm very bothered by whatever or whoever would make edits to the world for their own amusement or benefit or pleasure, and make me a toy of that. And so whatever, sir, needs to be done to discover the truth of this, I'm supportive of that.
Adam, how is that particular little
Man, I feel bad about that.
yeah right now I will say, and Lucius will eventually get to this point of explaining this, I will say that this is not in the way that the Vertovian thing, or rather what Hecate did, was clearly a mind frel. I mean, that was a mental obfuscation. Okay. That was this is more like there are two realities. So it isn't so much that your memory was changed, it's that reality was changed, and thus your memory is different.
And that makes it so much better.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying it's, I'm not mentally controlling everybody. I'm changing the world. I would never mentally control everybody. I'm a nice guy. I'm just going to change reality to suit what I want. Yeah, that may not actually be much of a defense. And Lucius might eventually get to this point, but right now the immediate thing that I'm curious about is how Summers' words hit Adam. Because it feels we've been skirting around whether or not he finally takes a powerful blow for what he's done. And I'm not sure that this might not be that moment.
I mean, I do.
Well, you're the only one who gets to decide, really. I mean, I suppose me, but I'm raising the question, does that hit you hard enough for it to be taking a powerful blow from Summers' words? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because Adam's a kid, man. Sometimes you do shit and you just don't realize how bad it's going to hurt somebody else until after it does and you see their face. He said, having just had conversations with both his 7 and 13-year-old about that same thing, and also the 47-year-old that's himself. For Summer's sake. Yeah. Adam rolls, take a powerful blow. Alicia just takes angry. Like, it's just... Adam rolls conditions. He gets a 7. Oh, he's holding it together. Not too bad. All right. Basic moves. No, is it basic moves? That's not, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's basic moves.
Yeah, take a powerful blow. Conditions on 7 and 9. You lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground. Your opposition gets an opportunity. You struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions. Opposition, I think, in this case, probably being the people who think this probably shouldn't have happened. So, because I'm not gonna.
So you can't screw me this time.
I'm not. What?
I'm teasing.
It was different. Anyway, so what do you
on your side.
what do you think?
So, at least in my mind, I feel like this is definitely the whole give ground.
Yeah.
And it's probably like just Adam going from like this defensive teenager look to being like, oh crap, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Just like that face is just like, ooh, that was not intentional.
So, to be fair, in as much as I can be, given my lifelong oath of service to preserving the sanctity of reality, he says with a bit of a look at Adam, to be fair, and also respecting your own feelings on the matter, my dear, I don't believe this was either intentionally or unintentionally an actual alteration of memory as much as an alteration of reality that then made your memory match that. You are, for all intents and purposes, in a slightly different world than you were. That doesn't make any, this is a bit of a pause, he goes, that doesn't make any of this good. Which I believe our young Adam can see now. And he sort of gestures with one hand. Adam, do you say anything at this point? I mean, this is after the stricken face kind of thing. And I'll have questions to ask of you as we get further into this too, because we talked a little bit about like the whys and the wherefores of some of this, but I don't know that we ever actually nailed anything down. And I'm going to leave a lot of that up to you answering questions.
Yes, we didn't.
Yeah. Yes, we didn't.
So, yes, we didn't. So.
But do you say anything? He's left you a bit of a conversational opening there, as far as any of that goes.
Ooh. All right. Yes. Yeah, I think this is time for that. So, with Lucius kind of just be, kind of like, laying this all on Adam's feet. It's just like, hey, it's just like, it's time to get mildly teenagerish. Hey, you don't get to throw away our own blame here. We didn't come here to get told that we're causing problems and that sort of stuff. We came here to solve problems. And I think that is the most lackluster rejecting somebody's influence I think I've ever heard. But
well, and I mean, certainly he could be acting to shift your labels. What would that look like? But it's just
I was about to say.
Go ahead.
I don't think you actually have to be having somebody shift your labels.
No.
It's just when you reject someone's influence.
Right. Act in such a way as to so on and so forth. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, and it is pretty half-hearted, or rather half-assed.
Half-assed.
Okay. When someone with influence
13-ish.
When someone with influence over tells you who you are and how the world works, accept what they say or reject their influence.
All right.
So it's really only whether or not, you're rejecting their influence. What do we get there?
Nope.
Oh, no. So, reject some influence. On a hit, you successfully hold yourself, tune them out. 10 plus choose 2, 7 9 choose 1. On a miss, their words hit you hard. Marking condition. The GM will adjust your labels. Okay.
Yeah. I marked a condition.
Do you have guilty? Was it guilty?
No.
What was it? I'm curious.
Oh, it was insecure. Although guilty does make more sense thinking about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Probably guilty. So you start to do this. It's like, we came here for answers to questions, not to be told that we're part of the problem, and it all kind of just peters
as soon as it's out of your mouth, it sounds ridiculous.
Well, I'm going to say to a certain extent,
or is this the looking around the room and everybody's staring
I was good,
at
not to speak for anybody, but I mean, certainly Lucius is simply waiting for the breath. Lucius has this look on his face like your mouth is running. You might want to do something about that.
I want to catch it.
Adam is definitely one step away from, you're not my dad.
Yeah. So Lucius has given him that look. Alicia's look could probably be best described, but by the player. But Summer with the look of like sort of sad disappointment. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Ouch.
Actually, she has a slightly different perspective, which if nobody else has something urgent,
no, by all means,
wants to articulate. So Adam, I know that Charlotte said that I maybe was picking on you a little earlier. If you feel that way, I want to apologize because that's not my intent. When Arya was going through a lot of her problems, you really went to bat for her and helped her out. And the way that Leo explained it to her and what was going on, even if the question is, are you a member of the Concordance or not? Even if that's what causes, an anomaly, I don't think that has to be your fault. And the way that they put it was, You can be at the center of the storm without causing the storm. You can be at the center of something without being the cause of it. So don't let us, put some guilt on you that you don't deserve. Don't let us talk about an issue that's affecting you like it's your fault. So I'm sorry.
But if it is your fault, I'm really pissed.
Does Alicia say that out loud?
Absolutely.
Summer's going to shoot her a look like, nah, whole thing.
That's hilarious. And there's a fair amount. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what's because Charlotte's still. I mean, I think Charlotte, you don't have to have blinkers on to the point where you're like you can only hear every third word in this conversation. You had kind of like stopped seeing clues of this discrepancy, but the discussion where the gigantic arm came in and Lucius is saying that's because reality was bent, and there's a coin spinning in the middle of the table because of this effect, and Lucius saying it's probably Adam, and Adam clearly not saying no. These are all things that you can process as a truth without having to go back and go, well, my reality is bent. You're still not really remembering all of that stuff. You're totally bought into this stuff, but at the same time, this is also part of this reality. So you don't have to sit.
We're still having this conversation.
You don't have to sit here like holding two realities in your head. You're still having this conversation in this reality, and clearly there's some there. So there's some meat to this.
It's sort of interesting. So I have to say, one of her reactions and probably not, her finest moment is, relief that it's not.
That's not her
work.
Yes.
Her work, on the.
And thus confirming that even though she's 240 years old, she's still a teenager.
No, that my work on the wounds was not the cause of, this terrible thing going on.
Thank God every single thing going wrong is not my fault.
She already has more than a little bit of guilt about that right now anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, that's probably, you say it's not your finest moment, but it's probably the truest reaction is like, oh, sweet, thank God it's not me. So Adam, I'm curious, you don't need to say anything or actually do anything to, but when Summer's like, we're not trying to say it's your fault. We understand it's probably not your fault. Just because you're at the center of this doesn't mean that you caused this. What's going on in your head? Like, what's your Jiminy Cricket voice saying at that point? And who does it sound like?
So nice and understanding.
So two questions are, what's your Jiminy Cricket voice saying at that point, and whose voice is it really?
So I will refer you back to that first picture and just replace all of the instances of cool with crap.
For those of you who don't know what he's referring to, look at the masks text thing over in the Discord.
We were talking about it at the beginning.
Yeah. I'm just an arm made out of arms, operated by a dude with arms.
Ooh.
So you did not reject labels. You took a condition. He needs to shift your labels. I need to give me a glance. I am the GM, so I get to cheat.
Hey, Bill.
Yep.
Were you leveraging into a comfort and support there?
She was trying to, yeah.
All right.
Am I understanding this correctly? You locked your mundane at 0?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Is Adam ever going to be normal?
No, that's fair.
No. If it had been lower, I would have liked it at that. But that's where it existed at that time.
That's totally fine with me. What Lucius will say at that, sort of juncture, or at least somewhere in there, while the protestations are sort of winding down, and before Summer says her thing, I understand that it's understandable to make a choice that you feel guilty about later. But with your great power, I have to use this, guys, I'm sorry. With your great power comes great responsibility. If you do not think carefully before you act, you will be a danger to everyone around you, friend and foe alike, beyond what you intended, even for your enemies. A sword swung indiscriminately cuts everyone, and you are most often standing closer to your friends than the threat. And he is going to now I'm thinking about this. Is he saying you are a danger and you're not thinking, or that you need to think and be less of a danger?
I'll say this.
He's either shifting danger up and superior down, or shifting superior up and danger down. And I honestly feel like that statement could go either way.
Because I rolled a 6 minus,
Mm-hmm.
the text of the move says they shift your labels. I feel like inherently it would be, who does he want me to be, and that's how I'm going to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. He wants you to. So yeah, it's going to be superior up
He's
and danger down.
influencing you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously. It's just a question of like, I know he's going to move them. It's a question of is he moving them to who he thinks you're acting like, or where he thinks you need to be. And he's a mentor, so he's always going to point toward where he thinks you need to be. So he's going to raise the superior and lower the danger. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, me and my 3 zeros.
Anyway, he said that it was a brief thing before Summer spoke up, and of course before Alicia spoke up. So Summer, don't blame me. I'm sorry, what did you ask, Bill? Because I was thinking about how to phrase Lucius's thing and I didn't hear it.
Oh, if he was leveraging into a comfort and support.
It would have been intended as such, but if the words weren't comforting at all, then it doesn't matter.
I think it would.
I mean, I think it's hilarious that her comfort and support. Well, no, it was the previous thing that she said that caused the take a powerful blow. But honestly, the comfort and support almost could have done the same thing. But no, it's. I love the fact that what she says could cause a take a powerful blow, and then the next thing she says is a comfort and support. So if it was aimed that way, Bill, I am fine with that. At which point in time, Alicia can roll her provoke. Because I think that's definitely happening too.
I'm just saying, being around Summer is a real emotional roller coaster.
I don't think Summer
God, yes.
Summer doesn't have any superpowers. She's just the one in the group that makes good life choices, and everyone's like, "Why?" She's like, "No. She's actually the most valuable member of the team." Just because of that one thing. Actually, that might be Leo. Anyway, or really, Arya. Anyway, look at that. 10 on comfort and support. That's one of Summer's first really solid good rolls, I think.
Yeah, what the hell?
A little bit. So comfort and support. Hey, on a hit, they hear you. They mark potential clear condition or shift labels. If they open up to you, I want to see that. Definitely in this case.
Oh yeah. No. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, I am ready for this content.
Uh-huh.
So let's focus on that bit. that Summer said, and we'll move on to Alicia. And also, I want to.
And also note
Lucius-
on a 10+, also add a team to the pool or clear a condition yourself. So
Yeah.
I cleared guilty.
okay.
That's good stuff. All right. And Lucius has got stuff to loop back to Charlotte with also. So that's not a here nor there. We're getting to that part.
We've got feels to get through first.
We got feels. We got so many feels to go on with here. Actually, I'm going to look. Where is? So she threw the thing out there. It's like, if it's your fault, if it's not your fault, et cetera, so forth. How do you open up to that, Adam? If that is your real name.
Harsh. So it's just like quick glance over the shoulder, check in. Door closed.
Yes.
Yeah, except for
I
the
was about to say,
holographic.
except for the-
hole.
Hard light hole.
There's like a pile of cops listening outside, like.
I was about to say, it's just like, if the door wasn't closed, if the windows were still open or something like that, it's just like the blue flame just like comes down, like just slams everything around Adam, just so like the room's closed off,
Mm.
and it's just like looks at Summer, looks at Charlotte, looks at Mercury, who's here in spirit with us.
Yeah, I was gonna have somebody call him away from this whole thing, but I just.
Glances
say,
briefly over Alicia.
Doesn't look at Alicia.
No, briefly glances over Alicia. It's just like,
I thought you said bravely.
It's kind of the same thing, briefly and
yeah.
bravely.
and it's like before looking at Lucius and back to Summer is like, yeah, I screwed everything up. It was really bad, and I didn't really mean to get it this far, and I didn't mean to hurt anybody. But you know what? I wanted everything to work out for just 1 minute.
What's that?
I wanted everything to work out for just 1 minute. Same.
My daughter just barged into my room to say, same. So
Mhm.
clearly, what you just said resonated with the teenager. I just
If
wanted
it didn't
everything.
resonate with everybody, I feel as though
Sure.
you made better decisions in life than I have.
Yeah, but I have to say that having the teenager in pajamas with a towel wrapped around her head walk in and go same is it's pretty good validation.
I wanted everything to work for just 1 minute. There are so many tears around that phrase.
God,
in everybody's
yes.
life.
Yep. Yep.
Remind me about that later. I have a GIF. So
For just 1 minute is probably the title for the episode. So
That's so
Yes.
good. Oh, it's so good. I love it. Okay, so I think that, I mean, are we all in agreement that that counts as opening up? He said sarcastically.
Yep.
All right.
oh yeah,
All right.
I want him to grovel more.
You're not the one doing the comfort and support. And really, statistically speaking, you shouldn't be. Actually, her Monday isn't bad right now.
I mean, I have a thing for that too.
Yeah. Okay. The comfort and support. You did the thing. Add the team. Adam, you can clear condition or shift your labels or, as you see.
nope, I already did it.
All right. Or mark potential, I guess. I don't want to think about this.
Well, I did just line one up for Summer, so
Line what
I
up?
thought Alicia had something, but if that's been preempted by this revelation, then Summer does have a reaction.
Well, Alicia's thing might have simply been a muttered, thing that is simply tagged on to Summer's thing, not as, unless so let's put it this way. Alicia can certainly circle back around and double down on that as a provoke. You know, now wait a second. I'm still pissed about the fact that this happened. What are you going to do to blah blah blah? But let's go down the rabbit hole for a second. Lucius is actually, he somehow managed to stay in his chair and stay at the table and yet withdraw from this. He's better at wielding the round table than you guys are. Shocker.
Obviously.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Have you guys still got a thing float? I feel like some of you guys still have a thing floating around for the benefits from from the round table.
I do.
What was,
I do.
Are any of them relevant at this moment?
No, I have to flare.
Ah, that's right. Which
Mine would definitely be relevant depending on what Adam says.
Well, that is what Adam said, but what when you say you were leaving something out there for summer, where were you headed with that?
I'm just saying there was a lot to unpack from that, and so, however anyone wanted to start with it.
Well, in that case, I'll go because there's something that she feels she needs to delve into here, and it is personal for her. But she's not going to act. She's not going to be accusative. She's just going to say, "Adam, do you want to tell us what happened?" And it's not what you did; it's what happened.
Ooh.
And I'm really, can I say, just from my own angle, I'm really glad that this question is coming from within the game rather than without, because I want to unpack this by asking that same question, but I'm glad that it's coming up in. We could do this as a flashback if you really wanted to, but I kind of feel like I don't have a clear enough picture of it necessarily to be able to run it as a flashback necessarily. But you could certainly narrate it as one.
I have ideas.
Okay.
We'll go with that. So, you know me. I always work best with I have crazy ideas. Give me a little bit of direction.
Sure.
So,
well, you and I had talked a little bit about kind of what I thought needed to happen at
yes.
Emotional intensity level. So, you
yes.
go. You do.
So Adams, when to Summer's what happened, it's just going to be so there.
Can I frame this up as a scene?
Yes.
Okay. So it's about 2 weeks ago. It's the street in front of Adam's family's house. And Adam is on the sidewalk as Adam. And the wind is whipping up and the sky is gray, as really only late February skies can get. And hanging kind of over the street and above where he's looking and kind of glaring upward and half glaring and half panicky, hanging in the sky above him are the 3 concordance agents, the 3 concordance kids. And so the wind's up and the leaves are whipping around and, old snow is kind of being pushed around, actually this North Carolina, probably not old snow, but old, bits of, dirt, leaves, that kind of thing. And he's glaring up, half panicked, kind of occasionally glancing, or shooting looks back at the house as these 3 are glaring down at him clearly in sort of disapproving judgment. We just get a flash of this, it's a 3 or 4 second scene of this. In the comic, it would be maybe 2 panels, and then we're back with Adam at the table.
All right.
Can you work with that?
Yeah, I can work off of that. So, how do I want to do this? So Adam's just gonna he's gonna lean forward, just hands in front of him. And he's just so they came to talk, but it was less talking and more demanding. And
And honestly, you don't even remember most of what they were asking for because you were just over and over again thinking to yourself, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here, not here. Again, we have another shot that you should just have like a blank version of that image for Adam with various words, like different things behind him.
That had been a thought.
Cool. Crap. Not here, not here. Not now, not now.
But what's that?
French fries?
Hi.
Jeez, I'm always horrible with the spotlight.
That's all right.
No. So, but yeah, Adam's going to explain it as the Concordance Trio showing up and basically them being like, yeah, it's time for you to start answering for some of this stuff. And stop me if I go a little too far here, Doyce.
Uh-huh.
Well,
so I'm going to throw a few things in here because I do want to incorporate some of the stuff that you had mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That I want to make sure makes it in here. So this was all kind of happening, and then you hear the worst possible sound you could hear, which is the door opening and closing on the front of the house. It wasn't the absolute worst thing it could be, which was Jordan. It was both of your parents coming out. And then we get another little flash of a conversation from maybe 2 days previous. And you had kind of described this conversation to me. And if you want to, please do, because I'm going to only paraphrase it.
Oh, yeah. So it would have been Adam's dad kind of like sitting Adam down at the bed and just being like, son, we've been seeing these guys everywhere. What's going on? Are they, and Adam had previously only kind of given them the high level stuff about it. So, Adam's dad coming down on him like this is just like, yeah, so they're with the Concordance, and I think I screwed up a lot of their stuff, and they might be here to.
And your mom and dad were both, if I remember what you were talking about, like both kind of laying down this whole like this there was a whole lot of like these two things need to stay separate.
Mm-hmm.
None of this, it's just getting worse. It's just getting this. We don't see how we can get this sorted out. We love you. There's a lot of I haven't said that. I will say this for my own record. I'm going to pat myself on my dad back for a second, but I haven't said this for just about a year. But at one point in time, my 12-year-old told me, I am really tired of hearing, I love you, but. And I haven't said it in a year. I haven't said it since that day. And there was a lot of, we love you, but in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming out like with this expression on your face, like, what's going on? Why is this here? Kind of expressions on your face. And then you see your sister's school bus come around the corner of the street, down the street, coming back from school. And then I'm just going to read the move that Mike sent to me saying, I think this is what's going to happen. Here's what I think should happen when this thing kicks off. because he has a moment of truth that he hadn't used. Your mind's eye opens, and you can see the world around you like never before. You control it at will with ease. Of course, warping reality tends to have ramifications down the line, but in this moment of godhood, how could you possibly be worried? And in that moment where his parents are saying, fix this, and the concordance is glaring down at him about everything that he did wrong with the concordance, and his sister is about to get off the bus right into the middle of all of this thing, Adam just fixes it. So that none of that is a problem.
Because of the many things Adam has done, the one thing Adam hasn't done yet is say, okay, Keenum, you want to be open? Let's do that.
And not any of the rest of it.
Uh-huh.
So, all of that stuff, I want everybody else to just imagine him telling, because we're going to see it if this were a comic book, we'd be getting all of this in flashback. We'd be getting all this as panels. We would just be seeing the flashback, and now we're back at the table.
With some voiceover.
Can I make a request?
Sure.
Yes.
If this is important enough to Adam, like some of this power that he's got, his power is his story, may just unconsciously leak off, and we may actually see some of this or feel it.
Oh yes, I love that. I mean, yeah, I think in the interest of continuing the theme that we've had here, where we're not quite sure what's real and what isn't, he's telling it. We're getting the flashback, and I think everybody at the table is left with that, like, how much of that was me seeing it with my mind's eye as Adam told it, and how much of it did I actually just see? Like, but
I'm going to want to use my round table move at some point here.
okay. Margie called it first. Sorry, Charlotte called it first. Does anybody else have anything that they immediately want to leap into then with that? Before that, because if she's
Not immediately, but I think we're gonna have like the 5 move pile up.
Yeah, yeah.
and
Let's go in order then, Charlotte.
yeah, and Dave has been not doing stuff for a little bit here, so I want to make sure that I make sure he's probably second then. Although some are sort of.
I'll go last. I'm cool.
She began the avalanche, so it suits to that she be surfing the end of it. So Charlotte, what is your move? Could you remind us?
Certainly. So I am sitting in. Oops, let me go back up to it. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, it's probably still in the. It's probably
I
still in
am
the chat
sitting in the
somewhere.
seat of Boris the Chaste. Take +1 forward on your next Pierce the Mask. None may lie to those who lie not themselves.
Lie not to themselves. Yes. Okay. So so this is a bonus to your Pierce the Mask. What are you piercing on?
You just said, we're left with what is real and what isn't.
Ah.
Because remember, we're hearing this and seeing it from Adam's view.
You literally, Margie, you just literally blew Kaylee's mind with that, like bringing that move. She walked back in like, that's so good. Okay, so yeah, Pierce, yeah. This is Pierce. Now I want to make sure that that you're applying this at a time that's going to be most beneficial to you. I guess I shouldn't say the best time, but it's whatever. Because Pierce the Mask is really more about seeing the motivations or desires of the person that you're sort of, seeing through on, rather. It's a little bit less about like what's really happening here, and a lot more about like what do you really want?
Thinking?
What are you really thinking?
Yeah.
What do you really want? That kind of stuff. So this may or may not be, I mean,
You think I should be at the end of the avalanche?
no, well, hold on to it. I think hold on to it because I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know that it really matters how much of it was sort of him projecting projecting the memory. in terms of his ability to sort of project the memory, and how much of it was just him telling it, and it may be more like what's really going on here. And it may not even be something. It doesn't have to happen at this table, just to make that clear. This is going
Oh, I
to
understand.
this is going to lie. This is a mantle that lies upon you for a bit.
Fit what we were doing.
Yeah,
here.
no, it definitely does, trying to get to the heart of everything for sure.
Oh yeah, and I could say a couple of those questions where if Margie wanted to ask him of Adam right now, might be particularly poignant.
So just to bring that, let's call that out just so we have it. Piercing the Mask, the questions that open up for you are: what are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get you to blank? And lastly, how could I get influence over you? So when it seems like,
I'll let the others go because some of those, at
yeah,
least aspects of those might come out.
yep. And there's also probably some, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. It's a useful ability. There's lots of times it could come up. All right, so Alicia then. After all of this sort of subsides, I think is probably the best word.
I understand why you needed to protect your family, but you need to put things back.
I mean, that sounds
Why?
I mean, that sounds like a provoke to me right off the bat. I mean, it just seems very much like this is what you've got to do.
Yes.
All right. I mean, and I'm comfortable enough with this simply, like, let's let this go today simply because the way the provoke is written, and kudos to the guy who wrote provoke, it's written in such a lovely way that it doesn't mean like, okay, Adam, now you have to fix it because she rolled high. That isn't how it works. So, oh, thanks, Feedly. I need to know you have many new posts to read. I need to be that far behind. Thank you. Anyway, so do you have influence over Adam?
I do. So I'm going to add that in.
When you provoke someone susceptible to your words, go ahead. You were going to say something, Adam?
Can I reject it?
Well,
No.
I mean, the provoke is going to happen.
Oh yeah, no, I
Either
imagine
way.
the provoke is going to happen regardless.
Um,
I'm instigating them.
when you provoke
That minus one to that roll.
When you provoke, okay, let me think about this for a second. Say what you're trying to get them to do and roll superior. Yeah, I mean, if he's going to like dig his heels in and try to reject influence, I think he gets.
Then he takes a condition.
Well, he's got to roll the thing,
No, he doesn't.
doesn't he?
For PCs on a 7 to 9,
No, that's not what I'm. That's not what I'm talking about. Before that, like as a resolution, because the reason you have a 7 is because, at least in part, because you have the influence.
Yes.
What he's saying is he wants to reject your. Now wait, that's not the same thing because you can't actually take the influence away, can you?
Yes,
Adam?
I can.
Oh, if you roll high enough or something.
7 or better.
Okay, so hang on a second, because there's a whole lot going on here.
5 move pile up.
5 move pile up.
Reject influence in the middle of a roll? Okay, that's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's more about in the same way that like, because if it weren't this, you could do the thing where you're gonna what's the thing where you can use? Oh, there's another goofy thing you can do where you use your influence to either give somebody a +1 or a -2. And it's the same kind of deal. This is simply a way for him to kind of like.
This is kind of the help and hindrance of the system.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's the same kind of deal. If somebody, if Lucius, who has influence, says this thing, I'm going to reject influence, and he doesn't get to do anything. And it's the same kind of deal. You're not trying to shift labels, but you're trying to get him to do this thing, and he's going to like dig his heels in before it becomes a you have to make a decision thing. Yeah, but I'm okay. So I'm going to ask Mike. Actually, I'm going to ask everybody. Put your GM hats on for a second,
Mhm.
because there's a potential. Okay. It's one of those things. I have things some of the people listen to listen to the recordings just so they can listen to us hash out rule stuff.
Mhm.
When you reject someone's influence roll on a hit, you successfully hold yourself and tune them out. On a 7 to 9, choose one, whatever. You can cancel their influence. So that's a thing. But within the move that's already in play of the provoke, there's already that.
There's the opening to not do it.
There's also the tuning them out. So it feels like it could be. I'm prevaricating here about as heavily as I can. It feels like it could be sort of double dipping on saying no.
I am okay either way with it.
Okay.
I just saw it as
I was just sort of reading that middle paragraph there. When somebody with influence over you tells you who you are about the world, accept what they say or reject their influences. If you accept what they say, the GM will adjust your labels accordingly. If you want to keep your labels as they are, you must reject their influence. And then it goes on to rejecting influence.
So yeah, it seems a little bit. I think Margie's onto something here. We may be using the reject the influence a little bit more broadly than it was originally intended to be. Like any other move, it sort of needs its trigger event,
which
and
again
is
I
often
can't.
often, I would say, is often a label shift. Not always. I would even say probably usually. There's a weird thing going on here with the provoke, but again, actually, forget the label shift. Forget the label shift. I just want to look at this thing one more time. When someone with influence over you tells you who you are or how the world works, I'm going to be a rules adherent about this and really stick to the trigger words. And that's not what Alicia's doing. What she's doing is saying, you have to fix this, which is straight in the provoke channel. So I don't think it triggers the
I'm not saying you're wrong or you need to change how you feel about this or your motivations don't matter here. If you continue with this, you're a worse person than I thought or whatever. I'm just saying you need to change this.
Which I think
there's an opportunity to say yes or no in the provoke move.
And my read on that is that is pretty solidly, very concisely in the provoke column, and it's not in that other column also. Is that fair?
But that I don't think that means that he can't reject her afterwards.
So
for sure. Yes.
Since we're gonna go.
I'm being very careful. I'm being very careful because everybody's got skin in the game here, and I don't want anybody unhappy.
So, do you want me to go for the book?
Not especially.
Okay.
It can go any way as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I read at least the little summary pages here, I think the provoke should be able to go forward separate of rejecting influence. But if there's something that says otherwise, or if Mike wants to reject influence...
no, sorry. I'm talking
go
over
ahead.
you. Oh, no, I think the provoke should go regardless of anything.
Yeah.
Because you did hit the trigger for the move.
Yeah.
The trigger for rejecting influence in the little blurb afterwards
is
You might reject someone else's influence on your own, unprompted, or you might do it in response to a move of theirs.
Ah, that's a-
Either way, they need influence over you for you to reject it in the first place.
Is that in the little summary sheet or is that in the book? Because I probably missed
It's in
it.
the book.
It's in the book.
Okay.
Okay. Which is
'Cause
great
there's-
because there's a lot more there explaining about that kind of stuff.
It's 2 pages on this one move.
So, yeah, that'd probably be, and I can understand why, because this is emotionally, this could be a very fraught
Sure.
bit.
Oh yeah.
All right. So there's a couple ways this could shake out. I'm fine. Okay. So to a certain extent, I like the poetry of you got to fix this. And he digs his heels in so hard that he just stops paying as much attention. Like Alicia's words have less weight, and that pushes her down to a 6, which either means she learned something. Hey, boy, howdy, you got some potential. Or somebody else piles on and helps and pushes it back up to 7, which is also emotionally rich soil.
Oh hell yeah.
So I think I understand Mike well enough to know that he's fine with however it comes out, but honestly, the removing of the influence is almost part of the fallout of the move at this point.
And I'm completely cool with that.
Yes. Okay. So let's walk through this. We do the thing. We get the roll. We got a 7. In the process, Adam needs to roll he wants to roll his rejecting someone's influence, and that's just roll, right? There's a thing
Yep.
on it. You just roll.
Oh dear.
All right.
Oh,
so,
shit. So that doesn't
only-
matter. Adam.
Yeah. No. I wanted this. So not only do you not do I not dig in, you actually tell me even worse how I should be.
Okay, so if you reject someone's influence, roll. On a miss, their words hit you hard. Mark a condition, and
So
the
that's a
GM.
second condition.
Yes.
So what? Okay, let's look. Okay, mark a
If
condition.
he's rejecting it. If
Well,
he chooses to reject.
Oh no. I
Well, this is rejecting influence. He doesn't get to roll if he wasn't actively trying to reject the influence. No, we're not even back. Sorry, Dave. We're not even back to the provoke thing yet.
Okay.
We got to deal with the fallout of his bad roll on rejecting somebody's influence. Because that's where he's at with his oh dear roll.
uh-huh.
Okay?
Oh dear.
So on a miss, their words hit you hard. You have to fix this. Mark a condition. The GM will adjust your labels. Okay. So Adam has guilty and insecure. Angry? Afraid. Afraid? Is he afraid of
No,
changing
no.
this back?
I was gonna say I'm going for insecure, but
Oh,
Actually,
insecure was already checked. Yeah, I thought it was already. I thought it was already
No.
checked. I see.
yeah, I just checked that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay. I'm good with taking insecure.
Okay. Well, no, this isn't even. Again, we're still not to your thing yet.
No, that's but I get to choose.
No. We're still not.
Yeah, hang on.
Oh no, he gets to mark and you're right. I don't get to mark and
You're,
He gets to mark a
yeah, but
condition.
wait. You're still reading the provoke text. We're not there yet.
No, I'm not. I'm looking to reject. On
Okay.
a miss, the words hit you hard. Mark a condition. GM will adjust your labels.
All right. You need.
So
Go
can I back up here?
Sure.
So by obviously Adam's not heart not being in the reject, so not only does this go down, but you're also she still also has influence over you.
No.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that doesn't go away. Right.
That's right.
Oh God.
Uh-huh.
This is. I mean, and this is what I see.
And this is so classic of Mask though, because it's all about.
It's so classic of Mastic. Can I say?
It comes down in the end. It's all about the relationships and the.
And I will note,
that.
I think over the course of 57 episodes, I have never seen any finer combing of the rules for
No.
what a particular role meant.
Well, this is a very. I think the more emotionally
Well, it
fraught
is,
something is,
but
the more.
but
matters.
it is that, as Margie was just saying, this is so masks.
Yeah.
And the deeper you
You know,
get,
it's not like, can I manage to like leverage the giant, doomsday machine away from Earth? No, it's like, how do I react to her trying to provoke me to undo something when I want to get rid of her influence? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Don't want to change it.
Yeah. The pushing the stuff out of the orbit of the Earth that's shit. I might not
Oh,
even
yeah.
have you roll for
I-
that. everybody has their own special things they bring to this game. I will say, for the record, that one of my favorite things that Mike brings to this game is when I check in with him to make sure that the cuts aren't too deep. He usually responds by handing me a bottle of lemon juice and say, "Just lay that on there," because I'm not feeling it enough.
I kind of want to condition out on this. But
Well, we're not done playing through all of it yet. Okay,
No,
so
we don't want Anna. We don't want you in a coma at the end.
so we are shifting labels.
Marker
She says
condition.
just need,
Adjust the labels.
and she says you need to fix this. Save
and I
your.
feel like that's calling me a freak.
Yep, I think that's freak up, and definitely. Oh, mundane is locked.
Hmm
So
She doesn't see me as a danger, obviously, or else she wouldn't be ordering me around, I would think.
yeah, I think danger down. You just need to fix this.
She spits in the face of danger. So
Spits in the face. Yeah, partly because
Mhm.
it betrays her on most of her die rolls. I'm just saying. All right, so now
Now the provoke.
we go back to the provoke text, which says he rolled a 7. Wait, no, okay, I'm looking at the wrong move here. It's like, why do you lash out? Oh wait, no, let's take a powerful blow. Out
We'll
of
get
7
there.
to 9, choose
1.
1. And if I'm reading this right, Dave, you choose. Either if they,
No,
I think
Yeah,
you,
he's
if they
making the
do it,
bet.
or no, I can't choose whether they do it or not.
no.
That's
You're
obviously the
choosing.
character's choice.
You're choosing which of the consequences. Are you offering the carrot or threatening with the stick? On the 7 to 9, you choose 1. If they do it, add a team to the pool, or if they don't do it, they mark a condition.
I don't think I'd get to choose whether they do it or not.
No,
No,
that's not what
that's
he's
not-
saying.
no.
But you get to offer the bonus or the penalty.
So you're provoking. On a 10 plus versus a PC, both of these things are true. So if you roll,
Oh, I see.
yeah. So you get to say on
Oh.
10 plus, it's like, okay, well, if you do it, you get team. And if you don't do it, And with a 7 to 9, you've got to decide whether you're
Oh.
going to threaten with the stick
Absolutely.
or offer the carrot.
If you don't do it, we're talking Alicia.
Of course it's
If
a
you
carrot.
don't
Of course
do
it's
it,
a
you're
stick.
going to mark a condition.
Yeah. So that's the thing that's sitting out there. You need to fix this, and if you don't do it, you're going to mark a condition. So that's now out there in the
Yep.
world.
So, again, why?
I will not have someone changing my reality or my mind.
I want Lucius to say something so bad right here, but honestly, this isn't. Sometimes Arthur just has to sit back and let his knights figure it out, you know? I want
I
Lucius
think
to
it's
say
a test for us.
a little bit. He's definitely taking the measure of how everyone's handling this, for sure.
All right.
Because he has an answer, and that answer is because the world's going to melt if you don't fix it.
I was just going to sort of point to the hole in the wall, but that would be a tough one.
Alicia's perspective on this is much more local.
Okay, so Alicia said, I can't have somebody messing with my mind and the world and my reality. And I think it could be, Charlotte, if you're ready to jump in here, still giving you that option,
I think,
but Summer's,
I actually think Summer really needs to be in here at this point
Yeah.
because that logic.
Try not to get well.
Yang has struck. It's time for Yin to swing back around. Have you guys seen
Well,
the Yin Yang Halloween costume that a couple
No.
did? Very, very large black man and a very, very small white woman. And she's wearing an all white outfit and he's wearing an all black outfit. And he stands behind her with his face through the hole in the yin yang where the black dot would be in the white swirl. And she's got the white, her face is the white dot in the black swirl. And I feel like you could have those standing next to each other and put Alicia and Summer in those two, and you've got their Halloween costume. But good.
And I will say one more time, because I've repeated it both to my wife and to my son. The Imager video that Bill picked out this afternoon in the relationships
I need to go and
thread
look at that.
for Alicia and Summer was
Accurate.
just so spot on.
I've got to go and look now.
I was going to say endearing, but you know.
Well, endearing, yeah, but
Was this in the relationship thread?
it's in the relationships thread.
Relationship? There we go. I've been dying to get in here because I wanted to see the one that he did for Flirt Back. God damn it! How? Oh my god, I'm so far behind.
I am laughing only because I know I'm going to be like working in a few weeks and like probably not have access to any of this stuff during the day.
Oh my god.
If we're hearing you blow.
And then the smile goes away. I love that at the end.
Yes.
That's so perfect.
Of course.
My god, it really is that.
Damn it. Okay.
All right. So, Summer. Bill,
So,
you've
Adam
been
asked the
very
question,
quiet throughout
why?
this. Yeah, why?
And Alicia had a response. What is Adam doing with that?
Looking down very sullenly at the moment, because I haven't decided.
Okay, then she is gonna get up and go over to him, and kind of lean in and talk quietly, and say this: if I had a machine or magic spell that let me be flesh and blood and not have to worry about people finding out that I'm a robot and not have to be different every day, I don't know what I would do. But
Really?
the Adam that I know, the Adam that saved my sister's life probably by letting her know she was a person, I think would do the right thing. So whatever you're gonna do next, I think it's gonna be the right thing. And I believe in you.
And then Bill says, and then I provoke him to fix it. No. I say this, yeah, I put this in the Roll20 chat. In a non-creepy, non-sexual way, Summer is like a living, breathing, anime comforting body pillow. Like
That can't not be creepy though. Like,
that's
It's
fair.
always creepy.
There, Maple Story 2, the most recent mount that you can get in Maple Story 2, which is about the most anime game, like MMO you can play. The most recent mount that you can get is a flying carpet that is actually like an anime character body pillow, and you sit on, you kneel,
That's rude.
you kneel on it and fly around.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, you kneel on it and fly around, and then you carry it with you, like next to you, like you carry it around like a
I gotta go take a shower now.
like a
Okay,
baby.
All right.
Anyway,
Just so I bring this up because I have this roundtable move which is still there, which is if any teammate involves you in a celebratory or vulnerability move, in addition to anything else that happens, take influence and give them advice. I'm not sure if that happened. I'm not sure if Adam's confession counted as a vulnerability move, but
That
it
was-
felt like it might have.
That was actually what I wanted to lean into with my 5 move pile up.
God, I love
Okay,
you guys
wonderful.
so much. I can't even express it sometimes.
Because my vulnerability move is when you share a vulnerability or weakness with somebody, tell them how they could stop you if it came down to it. And I think the Adam story and everything to explain what happened and everything is basically, and along with everything else he said right now, is just like, if I didn't, or if he didn't know, or he was not, he was never going to knowingly hurt any of you, except for maybe Alicia. So
Okay. Well, so Adam knows one thing, which is that it did personally hurt Summer
Right.
because she said so. But the advice that she gave wasn't go fix it. The advice that she implicitly gave was remember the heroic self that we see you as, and act according to that nature.
And Adam, and I think maybe what Mike's saying, or at least, and sorry, you interpret this as you see fit, but what I'm hearing Mike say is that his heroic self would never hurt the people in the group. Never hurt his friends.
So now he must decide what that means.
Which makes it still open-ended because Bill.
However, I do this.
Yeah.
Summer, you have influence over Adam again.
Yep.
Nice. And what is the rest of your move? It's influence.
And I clear.
Oh, you clear condition from the vulnerability move.
In
addition to everything else. And what was the rest of the text of that, Bill? For you, it was you get influence over them, which you get.
For me, it's give advice on one topic, which is basically just remember yourself and the good person you are. If he follows my advice, he takes +1 forward, and I mark
when he does,
and he marks potential.
Okay, so if you decide to.
Actually, I'm a little unclear on this. What the specific wording is, they take +1 forward, and if they follow your advice, mark potential. So
if they follow your advice and act on it, you mark potential. It's Summer marking potential.
But he still gets the +1 forward if he does.
So you've got a +1 forward floating out there. So you have actually, Adam, the carrot. God, this is so you guys. Oh my God. Alicia provided the stick and Summer provided the carrot. It's like if you don't do it, you're taking condition, and if you do it, you get potential.
This is everything I wanted it to be.
This is so you guys. Oh my God.
So, Doyce.
I have lost sight of whether or not this game is any good or whether you guys are. I just don't know anymore. No, I'm kidding. But so yes, you said Doyce. Yes.
Yes, I think it's time for me to go along with what Alicia wants me to do.
Okay.
I think that means it's time to burn.
Oh. All right.
You have a move for me.
I have a move for you, and it is waiting up here, and it says, I'm going to get back to it here. You sit at the seat of K. No power exists without truth. The next time you burn, mark potential, and take a powerful blow as the full truth confronts you.
So, here's my question for you. Is my +1 forward towards my burn or towards the take a powerful blow?
If it was a +1 forward towards the take, oh, thank God. You know, every so often my mic will flip and I'll get to actually hear myself in my own
The fiction in no way supports +1 forward to take a powerful blow.
No.
No.
If it was a +1 forward to take a powerful blow, that would be bad.
I just wanted to make sure that I was going to do this correct.
Yeah, you did take a +1 forward on the burn roll, for sure. You know, Margie, I kind of feel like you should do Pierce the Mask on Lucius. I'm gonna give you a scene. I want you to have a scene with him here at the end because I have a thing that I want to do. Do you still have an advance you haven't taken?
I have several.
Oh God. See, this makes me frustrated with myself that we haven't. The next move should often be obvious, and I'm annoyed with myself that it hasn't been more obvious. I just think I haven't done a very good job there. But anyway, I have something tied to that with Lucius.
But I think it actually sort of fits my character in the fact that
she's still finding herself.
A strong direction. So
yeah, she's still finding herself. All right, so Mike, rolls conditions.
Transparent.
I do.
God, another 7. All right. So, wait, was that the burn?
No, that's the take a powerful blow. Because remember, next time I burn, take a powerful blow.
Do you not roll for burn?
Oh, I do roll for burn. I
think burn first, then take a powerful blow. So let that be the burn roll.
Or
do you want to re-roll it since you now know what it is?
Oh no, because
It's the same roll both ways, which I think is fascinating.
No, it isn't actually.
Isn't it? All right, then re-roll it as the burn roll. We'll do the conditions in a second.
All right.
All right.
So if I had taken conditions off of the take a powerful blow roll, that would have made my burn roll higher. Or if I had taken conditions off of burn, it would have made my take a powerful blow higher.
The order, this is a fiction thing for me.
Okay.
When you burn, you're opening up to that door that you closed. So you burn, you get the power, the door opens, the truth hits you, you take a powerful blow.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah. So I think this is literally like after he hears Adam after he hears Summer like, whispering to him. It's just like the sort of half slump over in the chair, one hand on one of the armrests, pulls it, puts the other one down, eyes like burning with Kenome fire, and just sort of looks over at Alicia is like, fine.
And he lights up. And that's so the 10 is the burn roll, so that gives you 3 burns. So just remember that, because we're probably going to.
I
honestly think the unstitching of this might happen between, so we can really figure out what all that looks like on Adam's side of things. And now we take a powerful blow and see what that looks like.
Yep. Okay, so you want me to roll that again?
Yes, please, if you would.
Okay.
I want it to stand in the order that it was meant to.
Oh no, that's fine. And it's the same roll.
It's going to be the same basic roll. So, and that is going to be picking from lashing out verbally, giving ground, marking two conditions. How close can you get to conditioning out?
Angry and afraid.
I have to look at this. I haven't had you this far down the. That's only 3. That's only 3. That's basically like.
You usually list with more than that.
Oh no, hold on. I have unchecked 2 conditions this game.
That's right. If it weren't for Summer, you would have been actually maxed out probably, because it's been the comfort and supports coming back and forth.
Yes, I would have.
That is my entire purpose. Is your emotional battery.
Man, see, there's a funny thing. I don't know if you guys have watched Dragon Prince on Netflix, but we're watching through the last couple episodes again.
Haven't watched it yet.
That's good. It's fun. But there's a bit in there. It's like, what am I supposed to do? It's like, I'm just sitting there holding this thing. It's like, no, man, your support. Every party needs support. Every party needs a solid support character, or something like that. And it's very much like sort of an MMO or RPG kind of thought process that I really kind of like. And yeah, there's Summer, support character, tank healer. Anyway, okay, so the conditions come rushing in. Now, I don't know if there's any further. You taking the conditions, that's a lot to come. What did you pick up? Angry and afraid?
Angry and afraid.
In a world he never made.
I think it. Well, let me put it another way. It certainly seems to me that angry comes straight off of this conversation, and afraid comes straight from
what happens next.
What happens next? So I don't think, based on the conditions that you picked up, even though you picked up a couple, that we necessarily. I am fine if we don't actually learn some other big thing, because we may have learned everything, and this is just these conditions accurately reflect what we already know. Unless there's some other big reveal that about that bad circumstance that caused everything. Have we learned everything that we need to have learned about that scene?
I think so, but after we're done with the game, we may have to talk.
Yep. No. Does Adam stay, or does Adam teleport out of there?
I think. Okay, so let me.
What happens?
Unpack some.
Yeah.
Let me unpack some things really quick. Because it is 10 after 10.
Yeah.
So is this your last scene here?
My thought is that you're going to have to go somewhere and fix the thing. Like go to where it started or something.
Ah,
Whether that's you sulking in the corner and on fire slightly with
Oh,
with Concordant Century waiting for everybody else to wrap up and just stepping out of the rest of this conversation, or if it's you just flying away or blinking out or what.
oh yeah. I feel like he's gonna go up like a bonfire in cosmic energy here,
and
because
and then just flare out of here, kind of fly out.
that's what I want to talk to you about at the end of this.
There is
I had
there
one.
is one thing that Charlotte would like to add
See, and-
if you're staying. If not, we'll defer it to next week.
Yeah,
We can definitely
an
play with the order
observation.
of things.
It's an observation. It's not a.
okay. So I don't think he's probably going to be around for. Well, maybe he will be. If he sticks around in the corner, or just kind of walks away from the table, moves away from the table, whatever.
I feel like this is more of him like burning in spot, but
Okay, so he's just waiting for, at this point in time, he's at that point where I'm angry and I'm just shutting down and not doing anything until everybody decides to leave, and then he
is
goes.
building up power.
Okay. All right.
So, okay, so that's going to change things because what Charlotte wanted to point out was that none of this addresses what caused the issue in the first place, which is, the Concordance teams hassling Adam. We need to deal
Technically, it
with.
wasn't the Concordance teams hassling it. The bigger that was the catalyzing event, but it could have been anybody. It could have been Troll out on the street. It could have been Facet. It could have been Carrie. It could have been Carrie. Well, Carrie would have been a bad example, but it could have been. It could have been
Teenagers, man.
It could have been any. It could have been any superhero not knowing the rules and showing up on the front, and talking to him as though he's Concord, right out in the street. It could have been. I mean, it was the Concordance because part of what he fixed was they like him now. He likes them now. They're all playing ball, and he's helping them acclimate to the planet because everybody's going to get along, and that's part of why it's that way. Is because they were there at the moment, and he needed to fix that too. But it could have literally been, if it had been Troll, he would have fixed something with Troll. So the bigger problem is he's struggling with his ability to make everybody in his life happy, and the fact that he can't because teenager. Because he's
13, man.
He's literally like halfway through Act 2 of Dear Evan Hansen as a superhero.
See, that's something that Alicia would have been sympathetic towards, but
Well, and I think she caught on. I mean, even with what you said, I certainly feel like Alicia caught on to that part. I understand what you're going. Although she did
Sure.
say protecting the family, she saw it as protecting the family. It wasn't protecting the family. It just want everything to work right for 1 minute. I can't make it all work.
that would have been a longer conversation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a longer conversation.
Yeah.
And
I feel like Alicia at least would have been sympathetic towards your parents have given you these unwieldy rules, and you have to live up to what they're expecting of you.
Oh Christ, yes.
on top of what the world is expecting of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's bonding
There's
material
some-
down there.
There's some parallels there.
There's some parallels. There are. They're just weird parallels given the otherwise, La Femme Nikita / Andy Griffith show, parody of you two. That was off the top of my head. I'm pretty proud of that, actually, as far as the comparison goes. Okay. So,
Regardless, I think what Charlotte would point out is that this doesn't change the situation. that caused this issue.
So I want to just
The
frame
team
it.
that we need to do something about.
I want to give Charlotte room to say that. So Adam, if you don't mind, I'm going to frame you just a little bit away from the tail. I'm going to have you like, is it okay if you like got up and kind of basically stalked over to the holographic wall and are just waiting? Or
Yeah,
like sulking
I-
in the corner kind of a thing?
I like the idea of him like flaring out at the round table, but I mean,
No, yeah, that's fine.
I
Um,
like
Fine,
the
you're
imagery.
not going to
of-
hurt any of us.
Yeah, and for Charlotte to say, this is actually it's very appropriate for you because you were never that. I mean, partly that was picking the Adam picking the person who wasn't going to be worried about this. You were never that concerned about the reality of the one thing or the other, and again, you're still not that concerned about it. This will change a thing, but it doesn't change the problem. It doesn't fix the problem.
And I think what I'm driving, for me personally, what it goes back to is, I understand what happens when you overly obsess about something or you take something too far. With the example of the Charlotte in the alternate future sepia verse.
Or, if I may say so, my dear, just the last few weeks, what you did was remarkable, but remarkable is not always good. I think it could be safely said to all of you that fixing a thing does not necessarily address the root problem. Did I lose some? Did I lose
I'm
some?
just laughing because Dave's phone is hanging at him.
Oh, I see. Hey. I couldn't. I
Hey.
heard the hey. I thought it was maybe Marty's trying to like her mic wasn't working, but she was like trying to.
I
Wait,
thought
No,
it
it
was
was,
your-
it was my phone. I was restarting it because it ran out of power this afternoon.
I
so
see.
I thought
Sorry.
it was Kaylee in the background.
No,
of
she's
noise.
she's out for the night. Although it's possible she's listening to it to go to sleep. Happens sooner rather than later sometimes. Anyway,
I was going to say the child who used to talk to herself to try and keep
Stay
herself
awake?
awake.
no, last game she always crawls in bed and just leaves it playing because it doesn't go AFK for like an hour, so she can go to bed and whatever. Sometimes she's up and she hears everything. 2 weeks ago, I think she didn't even make it up the ladder. Like she was just out. She goes, I have no recollection of anything that happened. And like after, and she mentioned something like the middle of the game. So I did catch her up the next day at breakfast, which always makes for good breakfast conversation anyway. Because she's either getting caught up or she's shaking her head in dismay and wonder. Okay, so Charlotte says that. Lucius will, say that, to a certain extent. Sort of make that observation. You have something that you need to do, and I believe it is the right thing. But for each of you, I would say, and certainly it's a lesson we can all be periodically reminded of, remember what the larger issue is that needs to be addressed. Charlotte, you have your wounds, but what is the larger issue? I'm not saying I have an answer, but I will.
After infinity.
But I do have the wisdom of great and wobbling age to be smart enough to ask the question. I thought she was asleep. Apparently she's not. Oh, now she's crawling up. I see. Well, I've got 15 minutes while she gets her sheets straightened out before I have to worry about tucking her in. I seriously, it's like a hurricane.
I don't know how she does that.
I honestly, how do you turn a sheet inside out? It is a flat piece of fabric.
I wish I knew.
It's crazy.
I do it every night.
And then she takes this, she's
On
got
the cats.
she's got this one fleece blanket that's the size of her whole bed, and all she uses it for is to wrap around her head at night. Like, flannel sheet, fuzzy blanket, over blanket, fleece thing wrapped around her head, and she's wearing a hoodie. And her bed is a loft. It's up near the ceiling. I don't know why how does she not melt?
That sounds like normal Colorado sleeping attire.
Well, it's all layers. You got to dress and apparently sleep in layers. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
They don't wrap it around my head. I cover my ear.
Good night. All right. She's waving good night to everybody. All right.
Night.
Good night.
All right. So, with that last thing, to make your ability to, I don't want to interrupt you because again, and if there's any way, Adam, that I can help in the future, if you would like to come back and talk to me, I might have some insight. I don't think now is the right time, and I doubt you do either. Miss Chin, leading from the front is necessary. Exhorting the troops is required. Don't forget the time around the campfires as well.
Look, now you have a dad to go with your mom.
I've already had a dad.
Yeah, but this one
It didn't end well.
doesn't send robots after you.
Miss Newman, you are a charming and I believe much needed addition to this group. I count myself lucky to have met you. Please remember, as you care for everyone else, to have someone else, to make sure that there is someone also seeing to your armor. And finally, Miss Charlotte, thank you for coming. Thank you for trusting me enough to ask me for your assistance. If I may, this small token, and he pulls, he actually gotten up while he's doing this, and he's like grabs this sort of box off of a shelf, a little wooden wooden case kind of thing, and he puts it. It's not like one thing in there. There's a bunch of stuff. Some of it looks, it's a lot like sort of costume jewelry kind of a thing. This token, and it's it's like a medal, like a war medal. Okay.
Hmm.
A symbol of authority, both as a way to assert your will with those who need to recognize the role that you must play in the very near future, and as a reminder of your own responsibility to those who have entrusted you with the ability to command.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Then you have said enough.
Saying in my head, no, I don't want to be the general. I'm not the general. I don't want to be the general.
And the move, and I am offering you, or rather he is, you can take it as a simple symbol, or you can take it as a move out of his legacy playbook, which is, if I can get to it and find it,
The symbol of authority.
the symbol of authority. It's rather on the nose, like literal in this case, but when you give an NPC an order based on the authority they recognize, roll savior. On a hit, they choose one, do what you say, get out of your way, attack you at a disadvantage, freeze. You did this once by virtue of one of your other moves that let you sort of copy a different move, I think.
I did.
Yeah. This will just give it to you as a thing. If you want to pick that up as a move, you will literally, I don't want to be the general. I don't want to be the general. The option's there. If you come to a knight with a sword and you ask him what to do, he's going to tell you how to take charge of things. You know, you don't get advice from Lucius that doesn't involve you being the general, is what I'm saying. So that's just not how he rolls. Anyway, so that's, I think, probably where we stop.
We'll pick it up with Adam fixing the world.
And we'll pick it up either with Adam fixing the world, or at least, you know, he might have to, I mean, we know where things are supposed to be, so resetting is easy. And as Charlotte points out, doesn't actually fix the problem, which is still something that then becomes something. I mean, that's something that's still going to need to be addressed. That doesn't fix, you know.
What this does is eliminate a distraction from that problem.
Yes. Now, what I think, first of all, I want to hand out some kudos here. Mike threw this idea at me saying, "Hey, this is, I think, something that could happen if I did a moment of truth."
I wanted to do the most out of the norm moment of truth possible.
And it ended up being like the Flashpoint Paradox like animated show where you don't
Yes.
actually see him do it. It's just like he's running and then everything is weird and you don't get until the end of the show like what the hell he actually did, which I thought was I thought was brilliant. I was ready to turn it to 11 and change a bunch of people's moves and all this other kind of stuff, and it's like, hey, you guys, 3 sessions, play this different playbook, and he was like, whoa, wait. So thank Mike for dialing that back.
I just want to say, for the record, in the future, if you approached me as the player with that, I'd have gotten on board.
Yeah, I didn't think anybody.
So well, Mike will gladly, say, please, sir, may I have another?
Well,
He's not willing to push it on us.
In the same.
I know some restraint.
In the same way that like having a doomed in the party means that death is kind of on the table to a certain extent, having a Nova in the party, I've come to realize, means that like truly reality bending shit it can happen. Like it's not the legacy is for Superman. This is like,
This is Phoenix.
it's Phoenix. It's just like crap will just change, like fundamentally change.
Would you say that this would be a playbook fitting for Adam Strange?
Sure.
Or Adam
Doctor
Warlock?
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock, yeah.
There we
More than Adam Strange, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Warlock. Doctor Strange. Jesus.
Oh.
Or a young Doctor Strange. Something like that.
So I will go on the record just in case Mike ever decides to do something like this again. That whatever you want to do, let me know, and I will play along and be grumpy and resentful about it
and
as a character.
Part
not
of the
as a
reason
player.
he didn't want to do that switch is because his original thing was, I just want to do this for like a session and just let it go. Yeah, he doesn't need anything. So and now he goes, I know it's going to go more than a session because everything that we do goes more than a session. But he goes,
Everything goes more than a session.
he had no intent, and this is what I think is most notable. And I just want to call out and recognize and golf clap because it's worth it. Is he had no intention of sticking with this. It was always supposed to be returned to be switched back, and yet the mulish feet dug into the stone, leaving furrows, resistance to it in character was both perfect and even more so because I knew the player was like, yeah, whatever, as soon as this happens, I'll be happy. So full recognition to the fact that you were having Adam drag every damn foot, and for you it was like, I'm ready to go back. I'm good.
I was literally waiting. I was just like, somebody confront him. Somebody confront him. Somebody confront him.
So yeah, I mean, to be fair, part of the reason that it took as long as it did was simply because people were like, well, there was another thing happening that certainly kept people.
Well, it was like, sort of like, okay, how do we kind of sneak up on this as a thing?
I like it because it let it be weird longer,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that gave
I do like my weird.
That gave this session more weight. I want to say this scene, but really this scene was one session. So.
Yeah.
So kudos to all you guys for sort of playing along without really getting a
Yes.
high
Thank you
sign
very
about all
much.
of it. There wasn't a lot of it explained, certainly hints in there, and everyone kind of played along.
Oh yeah.
And played to it, and we walked through probably a minefield of weird move interaction and drug interaction and potion missability tables there, and all that.
Well, I think everybody came out of it playing it the way their characters should play it,
which was great.
I mean,
Yeah.
Charlotte's kind of like, Charlotte's doing her thing, Summer's doing her thing, Alicia's doing her thing. It all fit with the narrative, which I think is a tribute to the group as a whole.
I missed Harry from this, but I will say, this has got nothing to do with Harry. This is truly nothing to do with Harry at all. But I will say that I've done several sessions with just 2 people. I don't often have one where we miss 1 people, and I feel like I may feel pretty strongly about what the sweet spot in terms of player population is for masks. 5 may be, I mean, not to say that we haven't had a fantastic run with 5, but it's a little bit easier with 4. just in terms of making sure everybody gets a shot every session. There's a little bit more of that.
Well, and,
Now,
and I think that's something that you take on yourself, because I know, like, for myself, half of the fun is listening to what everybody else is doing.
sure,
So,
but
so I don't want you to feel like, oh no, I didn't get a big pop this season. Yeah, I always think of
yeah,
it more like it's like, I'm a 3 today. That's okay.
yeah. Prime time was very good for that kind of stuff too. That's probably Primetime Adventures killer app, is the screen time score that you've gotten there, which I always kind of like. Anyway, all right, so let's quickly go around. Alicia. Man, this is a fraught conversation now. Closer to the team,
Ooh,
further away
yeah.
from the team, or more into your own image of yourself? For everybody, this is kind of a fraught conversation.
It is, because it's been all very internal on the team. I'm gonna grow into image of my own self.
Okay.
Because I felt like I was really trying to assert my will on a reality shift change without anybody else kind of supporting me in it. So
Yeah, I'll buy that. Yeah, you were definitely the one on, damn it, fix it. Everybody had a different. I think the thing I like best about this is that everybody, including Adam, had a very different take on what to do.
Mhm.
Or in Charlotte's case, do whatever, but it doesn't fix the problem. Which is also relevant. So that's good stuff too. Summer.
I'm going to say closer to Adam, because he did exactly what Summer wanted him to do, which was open up, tell the truth, and do what's right without being told. He chose to do what's right.
Yay.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because of the exchange in the chat. Alicia for Team Lead 2018. If nominated, I will not serve. So good.
It's like followed by Charlotte. I am not the general.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Leo Jason dynamic was good. The Leo Alicia dynamic is the Alicia Summer dynamic is lightning in a bottle. It's just, I mean, to be fair, a lot of it happens off screen, but it informs some very lovely moments in game. Honestly, Summer shooting a dirty look at somebody could not happen without all of the stuff that's happened on the forums. Not yet. Not yet. And it could only really happen toward Alicia. So I like it just because it gives her that one place where she can shoot a dirty look at somebody. Anyway, so okay, closer to Adam. Charlotte, what do you think?
I'm gonna say close to the team. I'm gonna say Adam, because I mean that was
Yeah, you did kind of have his back in the whole thing, because it's like, you can shove him around on fixing this all you want, but it's still, we got to help him with this other thing.
Well, I think I mean, in my mind, it's also.
You cut out. In my mind, it's also what?
It's also remembering how young of a kid he is, and that, we often don't, acknowledge that he has.
And
so nobody here has a normal family. So what do we know about, dealing with?
Did you guys share
expectations of us?
Did you guys share the thing? God, I just saw this week where somebody was like, it was younger superhero team. I think it was shared on the Masks. It must have been on the Masks Discord. Somebody shared this very Masks-like thing, and it was like an Avengers group or X-Men group or something like that. And it's like, so-and-so fell in the ocean, and he kind of fixed it. But then when he got home, his mom grounded him. It's like, his mom grounded him. It's like, yeah, I mean, you guys can make fun of me if you like, but my parents don't play. And
oh, those panels.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's really.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it was in the Masks inspiration, and I'm gonna go find that really quick.
Yeah, find it if
But-
you can, because it's a really good bit. Because then they go around the circle. It's like, it's like I don't really have to worry about that. My dad's dead. Oh, yeah, both of my parents they disowned me, and one of them tried to kill me. Actually, both of them tried to kill me. And they kind of go around the whole thing, and they come back around to the kid and said the thing about his parents don't play, and it's long pause. He's like, y'all need therapy.
Mhm.
Because every single one of them, it's like dead parents or parents tried to kill them, parents a supervillain, parent a planet, random crap. And he's like, I'm literally the only person here who actually has parents.
That's how I feel sometimes.
Oh, Adam is definitely that way, I think.
Yeah, he's the closest to having a normal family kind of existence.
He has a normal family resistance. Most,
Yeah.
to be strongly attributed to his parents probably. That's the problem, is his parents are really good at making sure that he continues to have a normal family, and that is. But it's the same thing. This is the thing that I alluded to this early on with his dad. The same exact stress that his parents have right now, they would have anyway if he didn't have superpowers, because they would have it about him being 2 years ahead in school, at an advanced school, with all these things. And does he have friends, or did we take away all of his friends because we let him move forward 2 years? They would have all of the exact same. Don't bring any of that. We know you're in the the mathletes thing, but none of that. Leave all that stuff in the outside the house. All of that stuff would still be stuff that they were doing, whether or not it was superheroes or not, because that's just what they do or going to do
Mhm.
in an effort to make his life as normal as they can. So yeah, he can blame himself all he wants, but the fact of the matter is that it's just kind of the family he's got. But he's got a family, so let me know if you find the thing. And finally, Adam.
We are gonna go into vision of our own self, or grow more into the image of ourselves
Okay, all right, I buy that.
for reason
Because you.
for reasons.
Well, yeah, I can think of a couple. You probably have one I didn't think of. If for no other reason than he's back to being like Adam, Concord Adam. I did like the alternate version of Adam, whose superhero identity is simply Adam.
Oh no, it never got brought up because I was going to do like a picture, like an Instagram photo.
Oh yeah.
But no, he had a super embarrassing superhero identity.
Oh
that
really?
He just did not use.
That's really funny. Everyone
The
just calls him
Keenum
Adam.
Kid.
No. Oh my God.
Kid. Oh God. Yeah.
It
Ugh.
would have
Oh
been
my
great.
God. I want that to be an NPC in some other game at some point in time, since Keenomes are like sort of a built-in masks thing. Just have somebody be the Keenum Kid. Oh my God, that's so
I'm
good.
glad everybody appreciated that.
Thank you.
I was like, how do I bring this up like elegantly? And it's like, man, I really should just throw these things out and see what sticks. But
That's so funny.
we'll get to that at some point.
Masks. Was it masks?
I will say that I really loved.
I am pouring through
Adam.
here, Joyce.
You really loved what?
I loved just Adam as Adam.
Super confident Adam. Yeah.
Confident and happy, and everything's going his way, and his family's happy and everything.
Oh, we couldn't have that.
It was.
And now
Well,
that we
you know-
fucked it all up, that's our victory.
Weirdly,
you know-
Kaylee found all of that like wickedly unnerving.
Well, yes, it was unnerving, but it was also like I loved it.
Actually,
I loved that that's what he wanted, and that's what kind of he made happen.
actually, the weird thing was what. So when he was like going through school and just kind of going, oh yeah, sure, let's go find Charlotte. I'll be happy, blah blah blah. She referred to him as that, like that was mean Adam. Like for some reason she saw the way he was acting as being mean, which I think is just fascinating. Because he wasn't hemming and hawing about everything. He didn't really seem to give as much thought to everything? Question mark? And maybe that made him seem mean? I just don't know exactly. But I thought it was fascinating. It's kind of a neat thing. Anyway, doesn't matter.
just in
Hey, you guys
case.
just heard none of that because I accidentally left the channel.
Yeah,
did.
Oh,
we,
good.
we were all talking about that.
we were talking about you talking, so it was okay. We were all there.
I don't know where I went. I was looking. Well, I was going over into the mass thing, and I think I must have clicked on a voice channel by accident for a hot second. Somebody over there is probably really confused about what the fuck I was talking about. Anyway. No, what was the last thing you guys heard? Because there was something about Kayla that I wanted to share, which was pretty funny.
Dave was in the middle of saying something.
I was.
Oh, you were? What were you saying? Doesn't matter.
No, we were looking
I-
for my
I-
glasses, and he was nattering on about something.
Yeah.
So the thing I thought was interesting that I found fascinating from Kaylee is that when Adam was first kind of like we're in the school and he's sort of being confident Adam, she came in like right towards the end of the game. She goes, I do not like mean Adam. I do not like him. I'm
That
like,
was when you told me that, I was literally like, "How is this mean Adam?"
Right,
He
but-
is.
it was like I kind of tried to parse it the next day with her.
Oh
and
no! Let me tell you my own part
Okay,
of this,
keep
because
going.
I have told my roommate about the game, and he listens occasionally to the podcast,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "No, this is totally mean Adam. I totally get this." I'm like, "How?"
Because he wasn't hemming and hawing and really thinking about like what everything meant and what to do. And I mean, this is overstating how much thought, it's overstating Adam a little bit, but
Oh no, that's totally his. That's
right,
totally his.
because
like,
he wasn't agonizing about everything. It's like he wasn't really giving any real thought to any of it, so he just didn't care about any of it. Yeah, sure, let's check on Charlotte. I'm not doing anything else right now, and I don't really want a coffee, so yeah, let's go save Charlotte. That's kind of how it read. This isn't how you meant it, but to people who are so invested in little cuddly, care about everything Adam, the fact that he was just, confidently saying, yeah, let's go take care of it seemed very callous. So it was,
Oh, yeah,
it was mean Adam.
they thought this was Adam super out of character, and it was just like unnerving. So I mean,
Yeah.
I get that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm glad it went on for a little while just because it meant it got to be weird for a little while.
It was great.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. I am good. Margie just finally came through with the shift on Adam's thing, which probably isn't going to move anything anywhere because I think his save is already locked.
No wait, I thought I got to shift Margie.
Yep, you did.
I'm sorry, I got it
Yeah,
backwards.
Yeah, it's fine. It happens all
That's
the time.
okay. You know what? Those
I
seem
do
like
that
really good.
every week. I even read it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to shift them.
It's funny. That's funny.
Actually, those sound like really good labels to shift. So how about you go for those?
Okay, thank you. Savior's locked. So
Savior's locked, so
we're
it's
good.
not-
And my freak is the lowest it's been, like the entire game, right now.
That's funny. This is it's actually it's actually weird to be like doing like a PTBA game where the labels don't shift all the time. And Masks, and it's funny to me about that. What's funny to me about that is Masks is the only one that really shifts labels as hard as this. I don't think any of the rest of them move the scores around like this.
No, not nearly as much as this game.
Nothing does it the way Masks does, and I don't think any of them really do it very much at all. It's pretty much under the advances, and that's about it. So it's much more locked in, which is fine. This is the whole point of this is that you are volatile clay, moldable characters. I mean, that's the whole point. So this game has like layers in it and layers in it and layers in it that you just, I mean, I've unpacked that 100 times saying, oh, well, yeah, the things move because you're a teenager. And then it comes back around. It's like, no, but you got to look at what it means. And it just hits me all over again. Good stuff. And what a group. Thank you guys. I had a really, really fun little one shot, and I got to, roll boxcars against a god. And this session was still more awesome than that, as much as it was awesome.
So Doyce,
Yes, sir.
have you stopped recording yet?
I will do that right now.